Hello, this is Bradmus 1981. How's everyone doing today? It is, this is not an April Fool's video, so, but it is April 1st, 2023. Again, my YouTube name is Bradmus 1981. I don't see myself changing that in the future, but who knows. I have a lot of videos, but I wanted to make this one before I do a few more videos today, or at least I attempt to. I have an unboxing video, not a Tar Heel Ants one. It's a bit of a much different one than I've done in the past. But I do plan to do on my ant colony update as well, because I have to do some maintenance in there. I got to clean out my formicas outworld. I need they have water, but I need to replace some of their nest mates with some fresh water, because it's getting low. I want to check out my Campanatus colony. Last time I checked, the queen still hadn't laid eggs. They're losing workers very slowly, but workers don't live very long. Maybe some species or subspecies do, but anyway, my pogos are doing really well. But again, I'll cover that all in that video. But basically, this video is just more to introduce myself. I don't think I've ever done one of these, but my name is Brad. If you haven't guessed. As you can see in the background, I live a messy but yet somewhat organized life. I just turned 42 last week. Yeah, today's Sunday, so last week. Yeah, I'm originally from New York, although I was born in Omaha, Nebraska. I lived in several states. Not a military brat, just boarding schools, colleges, opportunities, family moving, all that crap. But I've lived in New York, Nebraska, Washington State, Florida, Connecticut, and New Jersey. So, and now Arizona. Let's see. I was adopted, for those of you who don't know. I have an awesome mother. My father passed away right before I turned 5. That's my adopted father, who I consider my father. I had 2 stepfathers after that. One of them passed away. Oh, I'm sorry, a 3rd stepfather. I have currently a 3rd stepfather. My mother remarried a few years ago, and she lives out here. That's the reason why I moved out here. I was living in Florida at the time with my brother-in-law, and kind of deciding what I wanted to do. And my mom was like, "Oh, well, of course, my mom wanted me to live close to her." She's like, "Oh, come live in Arizona. It's so cheap to live. A lot of opportunity." Okay. For those of you who don't know, I have some ups and downs in the last couple years. Sorry, I go back and forth here because I'm looking at the video and the camera. But yeah, when it comes to employment, I was a 13-year, I don't want to say the word veteran, but a federal employee, both with the, 15 years, 15 year. 13 years with the Transportation Security Administration, commonly known as the TSA, and then another 2 years with the VBA, which is part of the VA. It's the VA is separated into 3 different kind of sub-agencies. You have the cemetery, the hospital, and then the benefits. I worked on the benefits side. Really had enough of even though 5 more years would have got me into retirement range, although I wouldn't be old enough to actually retire. I just had enough of it. Went back to the private sector, as they're called. And so that's worked out really well. I've been really fortunate with the timing. I've been promoted within a year, 3 times. I applied for a couple promotions, didn't get any yet. A couple times actually knocking on wood that I didn't get it. It's one of those situations you look back like, okay, maybe that wasn't, okay, that kind of worked out for the best. But anyway, so about the messy chaos organization. I live in a studio apartment, and I'm 42, so I accumulate stuff. I do mean to go and I do mean to repackage those boxes, take advantage of my mother's storage unit, and put some stuff in the storage. Same with some of the stuff here. If you've seen some clips before, you see by me I'm an avid reader. At least I am when I find something I like. All kinds of stuff. Mainly true crime, horror, sci-fi fiction, a lot of organized crime stuff. I love the history of organized crime. I find it fascinating. whether it be the Italian mafia in the United States or the Japanese yakuza in Japan, or some of the other groups, or the what they I think they were once referred to as Gunpei in Korea. But anyway, so yeah, what else? I'm also into my firearms. I only have one at the moment because of financial issues. And for those of you that own firearms or into it, you tend to like want to try new stuff. So anyway, just got the one right now. I might do a video on that as kind of like a review, although I'm far from any expert. I used to go shooting quite a bit, but now with the cost of ammo and it's not as convenient anymore, so I don't nearly go as often. But I'm good enough to have a firearm in my home and carry if I wanted to, and be proficient enough that it would safe for me to do so. Some people might vary that opinion, but I've yet to anyone to say that to me. So, and no, not in fear of being shot. But what else? Oh yeah, I have a tattoo on my arm. It's a Star of David. I'm not a disciple member from Chicago or whatever. My father was Jewish. I was Mikvud or Mitzvah, I believe it's Mikvud, and I do have a Jewish name. Forgive me, I don't know how to say it. I stopped really doing a lot of Judaism stuff when I was a young kid, but that's what the tattoo is for, just in case anyone was curious. What else? I'm into anime. I'm into a lot of nerdy stuff, which you might see me do videos of. But I'm like an old school type when it comes to that, so I'm very picky about which ones I like. Don't like a lot of the newer stuff, but some's okay. What else? Yeah, I was a nerd basically when it was unfashionable to be, or cool to be a nerd. This is back in like the 90s, and my stepbrother told me something a few years ago. He goes, I really respect and liked about you. I'm like, what? He goes, you just were into stuff and just owned it. You didn't care what anyone thought, and that's true then and it is true today. I've always been a leader. I take leadership really seriously. Not just read books and stuff, but have done leadership roles in the past. But I'm also a good, follower. You got to be a good follower to be a good leader. But the reason why I bring it up is, like, for instance, when anime was really dorky, I'm like, I'd be like, I don't care. It's a rated R cartoon. What's not to like about this? Like, it's like kind of Dungeons and Dragons. Even though I've never played it, I never understood that people make fun of people that do that. I'm like, you're hanging out with a bunch of friends, chilling, and pretending you're like a guy fighting or girl fighting monsters and using magic. How is that not cool? It's like you say it's uncool just simply because whatever. But I would say growing up I was a closet goth because I loved, well, not so much anymore, but used to be in love with vampires. I was never the type that really believed in them or dressed up. Just not my style. But so a lot of vampire books. The one thing that used to scare the crap out of me growing up in horror films is I'm a huge horror film buff. Huge. Don't be wrong. There are those out there that have seen more than me and are bigger horror fans. But I've only met like one person that maybe could compete with me in my personal life. And but werewolves used to scare the crap out of me. Now I love them. I think they're a lot of fun. Unfortunately, there hasn't been a really good vampire/werewolf film in quite a while. Underworld was okay, but the story drove me crazy because there's so many. Like, I don't expect perfection when it comes to storylines and what's called canon. But my God, that's just a train wreck with those movies. And the last one was just crap. I thought that's another thing I might do. I might do reviews on movies and stuff. I don't watch a whole lot these days because I'm just so disheartened with the entertainment industry. I don't want to go on about it because it gets political, and I don't know about you guys, but like I actually thought about talking about political stuff on my channel. I was like, oh my God, it's like, really another one of these? Like, let's just not, if you do a search, you'll definitely see enough of my comments on the videos. But one thing I'm very good at is having a conversation versus arguing with people when it comes to just about anything, religious, politics, as long as that person's willing to have a conversation themselves. Some kids, if you can hear that, I have the window open to get some fresh air, and I have the pool right outside my apartment window, so there's some kids playing at the pool. But But yeah, that's really it. Some of the other videos you might have seen, some of my pet reptiles. I don't have them anymore. It's not that I don't like reptiles. It's just I'm. You would never think it by looking behind me, but I'm actually like a little OCD, like maybe a little more than little, but not like clinical OCD. I don't know if it's because the military school I went to when I was in high school, but anyway, not for disciplinary problems, although I had those too. It was mainly just academics. It was a fairly prestigious school, but yeah. So you wouldn't think it, but I am a little OCD. So when I can't have things a certain way, it drives me nuts. It's one of the reasons why, even though I love playing video games, I pretty much only play World of Warcraft, and that's really it. Because once you play that, trying to get into other games, man, it's like I don't know. And then if it doesn't go the way I like it, or I like, or there's not a guide for it that tells me step by step, and a lot of people go, "Didn't that ruin the game for you?" It's like, yeah, I guess, but my OCD's gotten to the point now where it's like, if I don't have a tool like that, the game drives me crazy. But I don't know if that some of you can relate to that, but what else? Oh yeah, the OCD parts. Yeah, so that's why I really don't have the pets. Is that also honestly, I do tend to lose interest in certain things fairly quickly. I get excited about things, and then don't be wrong, my reptiles went to a good home. I did sell them. I got a little money, but like a fraction of what I paid for everything. But I did it because they all went to good homes. I do miss some of them. I miss my red-tailed boa, which was a male or albino Carl Harlequin, I believe. I wish I had kept him. Toad was a lot of fun. He was my blue-tongued skink, but he required a lot more attention than I was willing to give. Or I won't say able. I'll be honest and say willing, because they would like a lot of interaction. What else? But yeah, that's the reason why I don't keep those guys. But the ants are a little different. I've always been fascinated by ants. Always wanted to keep an ant, like an actual ant farm, not like a Milton one or one of those, but an actual queen. But the laws have changed over the years, or at least the understanding of the laws and availability. Like for instance, one of the pogo species I have, the Pogomyrmex occidentalis, I believe it's pronounced, is the first ant species slash subspecies that can be shipped through interstate throughout the continental United States. I think there's in California. I think because of their state law, you need like some type of permit, but it's very easy to get. Florida, I think, doesn't allow them, but it's not because Florida's having a lot of problems with invasive species right now, as some of you may know. Some of you that know me on social media know that I am very much, I get very angry with what's going on with the Lacey Act and how it's been treated. I don't want to get too far into it in this video. The video is long enough, but feel free to look it up. I'm a huge supporter of what I believe they're called U.S. ARC. Has to do with the Reptile Breeding Association. It's like their political advocacy group. Big supporter of them because I believe a responsible person should be able to have just about anything. I mean, come on. We all know there's exceptions, but obviously you watch the shows like Tiger King, and you're like, oh. I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things like I don't have an perfect answer, but you know, I do not support groups like PETA. I support animal welfare groups, but not animal rights groups. I do not put animals in front of people. People come first. Some people may not agree with that. I would ask if you don't agree with it, you know that's fine. I mean, I'm not gonna dislike you. I'm not gonna unfriend you for that. I may be like, oh, it's just whatever. You know, I have being from all these different states and living in them, I have friends all over the spectrum of opinions and political and all that crap, and so I'm used to dealing with people that don't agree with me. But I'm able to keep all my friends. Can't think of anyone that I really. Some people may not talk to me as much as they once did, but that's for so many different reasons. But that's because, again, I'm willing to have a conversation and say, you know what, we just don't agree. Move on. Whatever. Doesn't mean we can't be friends. But anyway, but yeah. So ants, yeah. So I found this girl I met a few years ago. Put me onto Tar Heel ants. And I was like, oh my god, these ants are like much more available than I thought. Like, oh, boom, that's it, man. And I've been ordering a bunch of stuff. And the nuptial seasons for a lot of the ants, I want to keep her coming up soon. So, knock on wood, hopefully I can get some cool stuff. But Yeah. What else? Oh yeah. Feel free to leave any suggestions on what type of videos you guys want to see. As you can tell, I'm amateur. I don't really plan on putting that much effort into this channel. I mean, what I mean is like, look, I want to keep it simple, fun, something I enjoy to do, not like a chore, or else, this is not a profession for me. I don't see it ever really becoming one. The only thing, profession-wise, that I really want to work on outside of work is my writing. I've yet to write anything, but I have a very imaginative mind, and I've come up with some really cool stuff. I just need to put it down on paper. But anyway, so if you have any suggestions, feel as always, feel free to leave a comment and tell me what you think or what you suggest. And that's about it. So as soon as I stop this video, I'm going to start working on an unboxing video, but it'll be different than what I've been doing lately. So check it out. Hope you enjoy it. And as always, it's nice meeting you all, and everyone have a great day/weekend, whatever. All right, you take care.